voice, "Oh, you boisterous winds, bring hither that same carpet on which I used to sit in the house of my father." No sooner said than done. In the morning, when Ivan the king's son awoke, the carpet had been ready for some time, and it was so beautiful that the like of it had never been seen before. It was adorned with gold and silver and cunning devices. The king thanked his son for the carpet, and at the same time he issued a new command, namely that his sons were to be present, each with his wife, at the grand review. Ivan the king's son returned home with a heavy heart and hung his head. "Croak, croak, Ivan the king's son," said the frog. "Why are you so sad? Have you heard from your father anything cruel or unpleasant?" "How can I not be sad? The king, my father, has ordered that I should be present at the review with you. And how can I show you to the people?" "Do not worry, Ivan the king's son. Go by yourself and pay your respects to the king. I will follow, and as soon as you hear a noise like thunder, say, 'My little frog is coming hither in a basket.'" The two elder brothers appeared at the review with their wives, all in beautiful clothes. They stood there and laughed at Ivan the king's son and said, "Why have you come here, brother, without your wife? You might have brought her with you in your pocket. And where did you find such a beautiful lady?" Suddenly a loud noise like thunder was heard, and the whole palace shook. The guests were frightened to death and jumped up from their places and did not know what to do. But Ivan the king's son said, "Do not be afraid, gentlemen. This is my little frog who has come here in a basket." A golden coach drove up to the palace, drawn by 6 horses, and out of it came the wise princess, so beautiful that it is impossible to describe her. She took Ivan the king's son by the hand and led him to the oaken chairs and the spread tables. The guests began to eat and drink and to make merry. The wise princess, as she drank from a glass, let a drop fall onto her left sleeve, and as she ate a piece of roast swan, she hid one of the bones in her right sleeve. The wives of the elder son noticed this and did the same. Afterwards, when the wise princess was dancing with Ivan the king's son, she shook her left sleeve, and at once a lake appeared. She shook her right sleeve, and white swans swam about on the lake. The king and his guests were astonished, and when the elder son's wives began to dance, they shook their left sleeves, but the only result of it was to splash the guests. Then they shook their right sleeves, and in so doing a swan's bone hit the king in the face. The king was angry and drove them away in disgrace. During that time, Ivan the king's son took the opportunity of going home. He found the frog's skin and threw it into a big fire. The wise princess arrived and asked where her frog's skin was. Then, not finding it, she grew sad and said, "Oh, Ivan the king's son, Ivan the king's son, what have you done? If you had waited a moment, I would have been yours forever. But now, goodbye. See me at the end of the world in the kingdom of nowhere. Wear out 3 pairs of iron boots in the search." So saying, she turned herself into a white swan and flew away out of the window. Ivan the king's son wept bitterly and prayed to God with all his might. He put on iron boots and walked on straight in front of him. He walked and walked, and after a time he met an old man. "Good morrow, young man," said the old man. "What are you looking for, and where are you going to?" Ivan the king's son told him all his misfortunes. "Now, Ivan the king's son, why did you burn the frog's skin? You did not put it on, and it was not for you to take it off." The wise princess was so far more cunning and wise than her father that he clothed her in a frog's skin and bade her to be a frog for 3 years. Here is a ball for you.